Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another new video. I know it's been a little while, but been playing a lot of games, and now that I'm finished with most of the new releases, I'm back to putting videos out. So, thanks for your patience. If you've been here before, if you're new, and you like this video, consider leaving a like, and subscribing is always more than welcome. So, what I got here is kind of it's like a deep dive, full spoiler of the campaign of Black Ops 6, which I'm gonna have to say I was pleasantly surprised by, and really kind of blown away at what they did here. I was very upset at Modern Warfare 3. I know a lot of people were, but this is kind of like how it's done. This is how you do a good campaign, and trying different things out. So with that being said, let's get into the video. So the game starts out in Kuwait in 1991, so about 7 years after Black Ops Cold War. And then we pick up here with new characters, Troy Marshall and Jane Harrow, and we play as another new character, which right out the bat I'll get one of my complaints out of the way. Another like voiceless protagonist. Like, I'm not really a fan of that, like, at all. So that's one of my big gripes with the game. But that's just me. I mean, some people might not care, but I just wanted to throw that out there. But anyway, you start out in Kuwait, and your mission here is to capture a VIP. Forget his name, but they want to capture him and interrogate him. And so they're sent in to take him in. They take him in, and this is kind of your typical fair Call of Duty like gameplay, right? Which is not bad. It's always been a great shooter, and there's tons of great campaigns out there. And being on next gen hardware, this game is a real visual spectacle. And now we get to see everyone's favorite psychopath making a dramatic entrance, Russell Adler. So they detain Adler, and he tells them that that guy was basically like gonna talk, wasn't to be trusted, and kind of explains why. So they take him in, and you have this pretty thrilling helicopter chase scene. Pretty cool, definitely Call of Duty all the way, typical Call of Duty. But a great way to start the game, getting that Gulf War feel. This is in the mansion, which is a way cooler place than the previous safe house in Cold War. I'm glad they brought it back, but they added a lot of depth to it. There's puzzles that you can find, like secret things and stuff, so pretty cool. Moving on to the next mission here. This is kind of like a stealth section. Your goal is to take out a target and recruit another new character by the name of Sev. She's like a female. Not sure if she's a double agent or has been or whatever, but she's a really, really cool character, and I love this mission because it's like starts out as stealth, but you could actually play through it any way you wanted. I chose the stealth option because I love stealth, is one of my favorite genres, and I think that Call of Duty does it well. I don't like when it's like forced stealth. You know what I mean? Where you're like captured and whatever. They leave it open ended, and I like that, which is cool. So we take out the target here on this party boat. Pretty dramatic little sequence there. I wasn't really expecting that, but very cool. And then it moves into phase 2, which I jump off here basically because I was going for a trophy, which is basically getting to the next area of the mission undetected, which I did. So Basically, you just have to get from the start of the mission to a certain area inside this building, and you'll get the trophy for that. And some of these takedowns, these new takedowns, are pretty brutal. I love them. That's what I like about the Black Ops games, is the takedowns. Really, really cool. And the human shields and all that. So right here is basically the point where you have to get through stealthy to get that trophy. But if you don't want to, you don't have to. So now there's a bunch of targets in here. You can see them in here. There's like 4 or 5 of them. She takes down one. You take out 1, 2, 3, and one of them or 2 of them get away. So now we go into some more, regular combat. And there's a whole scene through the market, but for time I kind of wanted to split it up to the big moments. And you take down that last target there. So because you helped her successfully, she opts in to join the team, and she's a really good character. A little bit more on that later, but I like her character a lot in this. Well, speaking of, so when you go back to the safe house, there's a lot more you can do than you could do in Cold War. You can get to know the operatives, have regular conversations, talk about their past, whatever. But yeah, she's a really interesting character and a complete badass, as you'd expect. But so this mission blew me away. I was like, wait, what? Bill Clinton, and they actually have his face model and everything. I don't know what it is, but and then see run into Harrow here, and she's kind of like, what are you doing here? But just be careful, whatever. But this totally reminded me of like a James Bond scene. Just set in America rather than the UK, but I was like super blown away and like impressed by this. You actually get to see Bill Clinton on stage before he's president, but just really cool little detail that they didn't have to have, but they do it for like realism's sake, and I really like that. I'm not sure how they get away with it, but they've managed to get like actual likenesses of previous presidents. We had JFK, we had Reagan, there was Gorbachev. So I don't know if they have to ask permission to do that, but that's pretty cool to have these like real characters, or real people, I should say, in these games. So now you're tasked with basically you get 3 different options of how to obtain Senator McKenna's optics. Like you have to take a picture of his eyeball so you can gain access into an area where Adler's being held. It's like a black site inside this building where this gala is going on. This is one I choose. I played through the game twice. The first time I did the one where you like use the blackmail against him with his wife. So I wanted to try out a different one here. This one is like, oh yeah, perfect product placement too. Really cool. You help like a mob guy steal back some data from that clock, and then he gives you the opportunity to get your photo that you need. And I take the blurriest shot of his face, but I guess that's good enough for what is his name? Felix. He's like the one that gives you the gadgets and stuff, kind of like Q, if you will. But yeah, after doing some sneaking around, getting to this spot, you seem to get caught, but Marshall and Sev have your back. So from here, it's kind of like a mix of stealth and run and gun. You're trying to find Adler. He's supposedly, locked up here. So after some lengthy fighting, you'll finally reach Adler's spot. And I really like. Oof, yeah, he is unhinged most of the time, but I like him as a character. He's really cool. So you finally grab him, and this crazy scene happens. like Call of Duty, you know, these crazy set piece moments, which, to be honest, there's less of them in this one, and I think that's kind of a good thing. There's only one real like on rails area, and it's right here, and it's not long. I think this part's really cool, and it doesn't overstay its welcome. So, and just being on motorcycles is pretty badass, right? So, you make your escape through the gala, see the floating balloons, all the details. Just I have to admire that. I'm a sucker for visuals and little details and stuff, and they could have completely just not had that in there, right? But super cool, little action films style, but I mean, I guess it could happen. But yeah, you're on the back of Marshall's bike, getting some shootouts, take out some guys in his trucks. Really well done, well choreographed. And again, just the visuals are just incredible. So, you take out the last truck and you get onto the van, and that'll be the end of this mission, which is one of my favorites in recent years. I know I didn't show a whole lot of footage of it, but given the freedom to do that 3 different ways, I'm going to play through it again on veteran, and I'm going to do the third option, so I get to do all of them. And now we're back in Iraq, get some more Desert Storm action going, and a surprise, Helen Park returns, and which is great for me because I loved her in Cold War, and I was hoping she'd make an appearance in this. And it's a very different appearance. It's their boots on the ground SAS, and she gets the Black Ops team to, because of her word, she vouches for them, and they kind of pose as army rangers that are stationed out here, and they need your help with destroying some Scud sites. And it's a very, very cool mission, but when I got to a certain point, I was like, oh no, like I thought, and you'll see right here, so you destroy that Scud launcher, and you kind of take up a base of operations here. Because once I was handed this computer, I was like, oh god, no, please don't let this be like the missions from Modern Warfare 3, the open action or whatever they were called. Those were awful. It was like their way of interjecting multiplayer into the campaign, which some people might have liked, but me, as a longtime Call of Duty campaign player, I thought that was the dumbest idea ever. And mind you, I'm almost 40. I've been playing Call of Duty since the very first one, and it holds a special place in my heart. I used to be, when I was younger, I played competitively, like tournaments for Call of Duty 4 all the way through Black Ops 1. And after that, I kind of got burned out on it, and got a little bit older during that time, and just really didn't have time to focus so much time on multiplayer and do all that prestiging and keeping my KD up and all that. I just, even though now, like, I'll still, like, I play every Call of Duty, except for Black Ops 4, because that doesn't count. And I play the campaigns mainly, but I'd still dabble in multiplayer, and zombies. Like, I've actually got most of the game's platinum trophies, so that lets you know right there that I do put time into multiplayer still. But either way, this is a cool scene. You get the chopper gunner, makes you feel like straight out of Modern Warfare multiplayer, and this is how I chose to destroy the last missile site. But what's cool about that mission is there's all these points of interest, right? And that's what I meant about, like, oh no, is this another one of those open action sequences from Modern Warfare 3? But it wasn't. It was actually like, you didn't have to do them. There's a trophy for doing them also. Of course I did it. And it's fun because they're varied, and it makes you spend more time in that, like, Gulf War scenario, because you really don't, even though this is set in Desert Storm, you really don't spend a whole lot of time out there in the field like that. You're a Black Ops team, so you're doing Black Ops missions, it makes more sense. But they did have some, you know, action oriented Desert Storm missions, and that was a welcome to me. A lot of people say it was wasted as a backdrop, but I feel like it was mixed. You know, it was mixed well. The pacing of the game itself is, in my opinion, one of the better pacings of a Call of Duty campaign in a long time. I would probably say this might be the best campaign since Black Ops 1 or 2. But then you do have the first Modern Warfare reboot, which is actually excellent. But either way, it's the best campaign in a long time. And this is when it gets weird. I was so shocked by this, because I've been like kind of like pounding the table for like a way to implement zombies into an actual narrative, or have like a separate campaign that's focused on the supernatural side, but told in a way like the campaign's told. You know, Zombies does have a storyline, but what I mean by that is like the cinematic version. Like, it's not real cinematic. You got cutscenes and stuff, but it's kind of goofy. It's kind of known for that, which is great. But I always wanted something like this, you know, if it was like a DLC or something. But I think I was blown away that they implemented it into the actual regular campaign. And what's cool about it is that it doesn't completely stay this way. You know what I mean? This is just one mission where, and there's another one's kind of similar later on, but basically, long story short, this whole mission didn't happen. Like, it's Case freaking out from the gas when he falls down the elevator shaft in the beginning. He starts to freak out. But if you do some digging and like listen to the audio tapes in this level, you'll find out that this scenario actually happened in 1981, which, if you know the timeline of Black Ops, that's pretty interesting, because Adler was at this facility at that same time, and without, you know, you're gonna have to do your own digging on that, because there's a lot to go through. But this whole mission reminded me of like at some points I felt like I wasn't even playing Call of Duty. Like this reminded me of Prey. Like this boss here, he's like camouflaging himself behind items, like, you know, like the enemies from Prey. It had a very also like Control vibe to it, as well as a little bit of BioShock thrown in. So yeah, I was pleasantly surprised by this mission, and I'm glad to see them actually like taking inspiration from other genres and other titles without completely copying them, right? I thought this part was really cool and creepy. You got all these mannequins that attack you, but like they turn into, like, I don't know, it's crazy. Like, you have to really play it, and I'm sure if you're watching this video you have, and you know what I'm talking about. But you know, I got jump scared a few times in this level, actually. Like, the mannequins, you can hear them walking, and you turn around and they stop, but they're right in your face. Like, really cool level design here. And this mission actually like is long. It's like an hour long. But basically, this is where you realize that you were just having a freak out, or like a memory, and that whole time the facility was not active, and that is actually Sev and Marshall trying to calm you down because you were exposed to the gas. Or was it? I mean, there's plenty of theories on this level. I'd like to think that the one I came up with is the correct one. It makes the most sense. But then you get little So he's still freaking out. Maybe that's what I'm guessing. But that's the end of part 1. Thank you guys for watching. I got a little bit too far because I wanted to do like an actual deep dive of each mission. And I didn't want to make the video an hour long. So I'm splitting it into 2 parts. And releasing them. I'm going to drop them both at the same time. So you should be able to watch both of them. And if you like what I've done here, if you enjoyed this video, again, leave a like. And if you're new, consider subscribing. I do this all by myself, and it really helps me out. So, and comments are very much welcome. I love talking to the community. So, if you enjoyed this video, just keep in mind all that stuff I said, and we'll see you in part 2 of this, or maybe another video entirely, because I got a lot coming up. So, thank you once again. If it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't be doing this. And that's all for part 1. Applersky out.